Welcome to Post, out of the house. Today might be the last ride, if not one of the last rides that I do on this DRZ 400, because as you may have seen in another video, I've now purchased a Husqvarna 701 Supermoto. Because of that, I'm thinking of selling this one basically. So today I'm off to get an MOT, and like I said, we may be saying farewell to this one. And this bike keeps stalling today. I don't know if that's where I haven't used it for ages or what. It's when the revs drop, it does have a tendency to do that. I think maybe I got a little bit used to riding that Husqvarna, although I haven't been out on it much. It doesn't stall basically, whereas this, you really got to keep the revs up when it's cold. I've had the choke on, you know, I started up, choke on too. Got to keep the battery charged. Best thing I found is to charge your battery, and then once it's fully charged, disconnect it. Don't leave it on those trickle chargers, leave it, and if you're not using it much, just go back every sort of week, put it on charge, get it charged up and top it back up. I find the trickle chargers just don't work in my opinion. Every time I've done them, they've always seemed to have knackered the batteries. I might have been unlucky with batteries. Now the battery on this one, I actually bought an X-Side, which is way cheaper. It's about 35 quid from a place in North Wales. Can't remember the name of the shop now, it'll come to me in a minute. But 35 quid, it has been superb. As long as I charge like that, it's been fine. I used to have the original battery with this, I can't remember the name again, my brain's going. Yoso, oh, what they called, can't remember, but anyway. And that battery, we went through 3 on this bike. Big Pace went through 1, then when I bought the bike off him, I had to go back under warranty and get another, and then another one went. Just absolute rubbish, and they're about 80 quid now. So anyway, that's the battery. But as for the bike, you've heard me saying before that I'm not going to get rid of this. I'm going to keep it. I'm going to go for the Grom, which I did. I've now got the Husky, and it's still a difficult call because I really enjoy this bike, but it is completely different. I've just got back on it now after not riding it for a while. It's just older, a bit more rugged, I suppose. It's not as responsive. I mean, it's just nowhere near as quick. There's not as much power. Originally, when I took those for the test ride, I was thinking to myself, oh, it's not a huge difference in the drivability of it. But there is. And the other thing is, this bike's at an age now where it's low mileage, 10.5, 11,000 miles. I've looked after it, you know, and when I say looked after it, I don't wash it a great deal, I'll be honest, but I've always kept the engine in good nick, you know. I've always serviced it, oil filters, changed the oil. I'm always topping up the oil if it looks like it's slightly low after a ride out. It doesn't leak any oil, it's very clean, so you think keep it. But on the other hand, I could sell this now for probably a decent price. Someone else could have a really good bike that they can ride around on and look after and get their use out of it, and I move on to the next one and don't worry about it. If I keep this for way too long, which people do sometimes, you know, you keep onto it, sentiment and all that, you ride the other one, this stays in the garage, I end up never using it. So sadly, I think I am going to say goodbye to this one. I'm going to think about it again. Really, the Husky is like this bike on steroids, isn't it really? So why would I need to keep 2 of these? The only thing I could think is that maybe this bike would be good for taking off road, something like that. Finally. Like my old man does it. I bought a 600 RR Honda off him, which was again my brother's. They always seem to start with him, Big Pace, and then one by one they migrate through the family, you know. And that one ended up with like a load of the old fuel in it. It's basically composted in the tank. We had to take it out, change the fuel pump, you know, got it all sorted, and luckily we didn't start it and run it all through the engine. And we got it back working, it was fine, and I ended up selling that in the end because I had my boy. He was born, that was 2 children. I had that bike thinking I'd have the DRZ and that bike to ride around, and again, never used it. If I went out, it was this bike, because the other one just wasn't practical with the places we go with my mates, and I wouldn't want to ride it. And in the end I thought, right, get rid of that, and that's why the Husqvarna, like I've said before in the videos, ticks both boxes really. It's the powerful sort of sports bike, if you like, but it's also the supermoto, slightly off-roady style, which I like, to be honest with you. I said this guy does a great job, does the MOTs, he's done my tyres as well. Years ago he put tyre on my Fireblade for me. He used to do a mobile service, and you turn up to the house and do it on your drive. He stopped that now, so you have to come down, yeah. So there we go, guys. I've done the MOT, it passed, but with a couple of advisories. But basically, so I want to sell it and I want to do everything properly. I'm going to get a new tyre on it because the tyre's getting a bit close to wearing down. And it needs some new front brake pads as well. But fair play to him, I told you he's a decent bloke. He actually said the price he would get tyres for is probably not as competitive. I'd be better off buying my own, bringing it down and he'll fit it for me. Here we go. Looks to me like this fella is going the wrong way in the road. So I'm happy with that. Obviously it's going to cost me a couple more £100 to get it sorted, but maybe that'll help me get a higher price, or towards the higher end of what these bikes go for. One thing I haven't decided yet, I have not done a review on YouTube, on my channel, of this bike, of the DRZ. And I know people might think, well, why would you bother, it's an old bike, but for anyone that is looking for old DRZs and is able to get hold of a decent one, I wonder if it would be worth me doing a review on this. Newport Town Centre is a pain in the arse lately. I mean, they put these bus lanes in years ago, right? Now, I'm all for improving public transport, but they haven't improved it. Is what they've done is just chucked in a load of bus lanes, right? So they reduced the amount of traffic they could get through, yeah? Now, this roundabout is a bone of contention at the moment, because this particular one, they're actually talking about now turning this and putting it back pretty much how it was back when I was a child, I think, or maybe pre that. And they want to turn this into a crossroads with more traffic lights. So I don't know if someone's got some sort of contract or some dodgy deal with traffic lights around here, because they love putting traffic lights on all the roundabouts, which is completely pointless. But to be honest with you, this particular roundabout doesn't work that badly. Now, they might think it's unsightly and needs a bit of an overhaul, but they're going to fill all this in, they're going to put a crossroads right where I'm looking now, and then there's going to be a tunnel under here for the road. And the idea is that you're going to have traffic lights and then cycle lanes. And what they're trying to do is improve or make more accessible cycling, which, again, I'm not against that whatsoever. You know, I'm all for people being able to get around on a bike, but we've got to be realistic as well. Just by making the use of cars worse, it's not going to just get people on bikes, because people have to travel places. They're not going to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning with a 3-hour journey on their bike. You know, South Wales, for goodness sake. It's not like the Mediterranean, is it? You don't mean riding in, basking in the sunshine on your bike every morning. So, I don't know, I think they need a bit of a reality check sometimes. This is the roundabout that needs sorting, not that one. This one is appalling. You watch now. You come here and you hit with traffic lights. Suddenly we stop, and then these cars that are coming right at me there, right, they're desperate to get out before the other traffic lights go, and it's absolute carnage. And again, this was a roundabout, and then after it was in operation for about 12 months, lo and behold, oh, a load of traffic lights. Let's stick those on there, and we'll just stop the traffic once it's halfway through pulling across a lane, and then you end up with all sorts of problems. So I don't know who makes these decisions, but it's bloody appalling, and I'm sorry for ranting, I've gone off on one. Anyway, on that note, if you're interested in using any of the gear I use to make these moto vlogs, then I'll put links to all of those in the description section below. If you're interested in my other videos, please click on those, watch, like, share, subscribe. If you've enjoyed this video, then please give it a like, and finally, if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to this channel and press that bell icon for regular notifications. I've been Pace, out of the house. Ta-ta, farewell.